Well, good morning, everybody. Mark Finan here in the Home Weather Office on this Tuesday morning. It is now the 25th day of June, 2024. This is the morning briefing coming to you from the Home Weather Office. And as I look out the window of the Home Weather Office this morning, it looks a little different. We have some clouds in the area. Some areas have been seeing some sprinkles, and some areas will be seeing some thunderstorms this afternoon. But I'll show you where we're likely going to see some of those thunderstorms, and also why these clouds really won't produce much in the way of rain for most areas. So let's start with the satellite this morning. Now, this is more or less the start of monsoon season. Monsoon season is when we start seeing moisture come up from the south. And keep in mind that monsoon is just a seasonal shift in wind. Monsoon does not mean big time rain, although you get rain when the monsoon happens. Monsoon is just a term for a seasonal shift in wind. So in other words, during the wintertime, we're always looking for weather to come in from the west or from the north. And at this time of year, for the next few months, we look for moisture to come up from the south. And usually what that means is a good chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms in the Sierra and occasional clouds over the valley. And yeah, every now and then we'll get a thunderstorm in the valley as well. A lot of moisture in here. And of course, this is a big time of year in Arizona. This is the time of year where Arizona gets a lot of the monsoon, and some of it occasionally creeps into California. But Arizona really gets the big time benefit from the monsoon. So let's talk a little bit about the precipitable water. And so this is the water that is in the atmosphere from the surface up into the atmosphere, and how much water you could theoretically squeeze out of it. And this is this afternoon, and these colors in here indicate higher levels of precipitable water, an inch or more. These colors up here indicate drier air. So this is this afternoon when we have some pretty good water in the atmosphere. But once we get into the day tomorrow, all of that begins to shift down to the south. And so our only threat of having this cloud cover around really is today and into tonight. And again, some areas will see a chance of showers and some areas will not. But getting high levels of precipitable water in the atmosphere and actually getting rain are two different things. So let me show you the HRRR. And as we go through the day today, as you can see, this is the simulated reflectivity. And it showed a fair amount of activity early this morning over the valley. And then heading up into the afternoon, getting into the Sierra that I'll talk more about in just a minute. All right, that's the way the model shows it. Here's the way the radar actually shows it. And there is some activity here and there, but a lot of this is evaporating before it gets to the ground. There may be some stray sprinkles here and there, but you're not seeing wide areas of rain. And if you use an app and it's showing you that there is rain in the area, it may not be correct. And I can show you why. Let me stop this. All right, so let me zoom in here a little bit on the Sacramento area. So let's take a look at some of these areas. Some of this is ground clutter, and of course that's the windmills here. But let's take a look at this area in Placer County. And that's the way it looks from the Davis radar. Let me change radars for you. And then let's go to the Beale radar. And notice the Beale radar doesn't show it, but it does show rain over here. So what happens is as you get farther away from the radar, so what I'm showing you here is from the Beale radar, this is actually, by the time the beam is here, it's probably in the atmosphere 8,000 or 10,000 feet. So it's showing you well up into the atmosphere, and if we show you that from a closer range, you'll notice that it's not there. So the Davis radar does not see this, but the Beale radar does, because this is well elevated off the ground, whereas the Davis radar does not see that at all. So another way to look at that is to do a look at the atmosphere in 3 dimensions. So what I'm going to show you here is a virtual sounding off of one of the models this morning. So this is a vertical profile of the atmosphere. The surface is down here, and this goes up to 100 millibars, which is way up in the atmosphere. But what we want to pay attention to is really this area from 300 millibars down. 500 millibars is around 18,000 feet. The green line is the dew point, so that's where your humidity is, if you will, and the red line is the temperature. Where the two meet, right in here, that's where your cloud cover is. This is where the atmosphere is saturated in here. And that starts probably at around, 14,000 feet, something like that, and extends up to, well, maybe 25,000 feet or higher. But you'll notice below this that the two lines separate. The temperature's over here, the dew point's over here. That means this area is very, very dry. So here's where your cloud cover is. So imagine this is your cloud base, let's say right in here. And so let's say it starts raining. Well, it's raining at 12,000, 14,000 feet. And by the time those raindrops try to get down to the ground, they go into this area of very dry air and they evaporate. And that's why down on the valley floor, you may get a drop or two, but you don't get downpours. You certainly don't get anything in the way of downpours, even if the radar indicates there may be areas of downpours. That most likely is not going to be the case, because the radar is picking up, it's picking up activity from aloft. Hope that all makes sense. All right, let's get back to the where we will see thunderstorms this afternoon, and that's the Eastern Sierra. This is this afternoon around 4 o'clock. Let me go ahead another hour, 5 o'clock. So this is around Bodie, down toward Mammoth, and down toward Bishop along 395 and into Nevada. There may be some showers up here into Lassen County, and those would be areas we'd have to pay attention to this afternoon for the possibility of lightning strikes. But for areas like Sacramento, Stockton, Modesto, I think that threat today is very, very small. But in the Sierra, we will see some pretty good activity this afternoon along and east of Highway 395 and well south of Lake Tahoe and south of Topaz Lake. So, interesting day today with this monsoon moisture, but it's important to keep in mind that vertical profile of the atmosphere, and that down near the surface and from the surface up to around 10,000 feet, the atmosphere is still very dry. And that's why we usually get into the monsoon situations here when we have valley temperatures up over 90 degrees. It's very difficult for us to get any sort of significant rain out of the monsoon season. It's different in the Sierra because you're dealing with a higher base, but down on the valley floor and let's say the foothills below 2,000 feet, you just don't get anything in the way of significant rain. Maybe a drop or two that may manage to make it through that dry layer, but that's about it. So, interesting day today. Hope you enjoyed that explanation. Nice to see some clouds in the sky today, but I think by the time we get into tomorrow, all this cloud cover will have moved on. So go out and make it a great day. I'll talk with you later.